Youth-based unemployment is becoming an increasingly significant issue. In certain Southern European countries, you've got youth-based unemployment hovering around 50%. I mean, that's the kind of thing that starts to tear apart society if it's allowed to be sustained for too long, where people don't feel like they have access to opportunity, they become disenfranchised, they don't feel like they have a voice, and that's when bad stuff starts to happen. You've got the increasing fragmentation of work by virtue of the sharing economy and some of these new marketplace environments where people can start to set their own hours.
Let's talk about that. How does LinkedIn plan to account for the 1099 economy, the freelancers, the Uber drivers, the delivery people who are freelancing or have multiple jobs?
Yeah, so a lot of those people have their profiles on LinkedIn because that's how they represent their professional identity to the world. And that's how opportunity accrues to them.
Do you think it's a dangerous trend, this move towards freelancing? I mean, do you think companies like Uber should be thinking hard about making their workers full-time or giving them benefits?
I don't know that I'd say it's dangerous per se, but clearly things are changing, and we're going to have to revisit as a society the laws and the regulations that govern the way companies used to operate. You know, when you're working, there should be certain benefits that are afforded to individuals. The extent to which that's mandated and that the company has to offer that on a formal basis, or the extent to which there are third-party platforms that facilitate the way in which individuals are able to generate those benefits, I think this is going to continue to evolve. I think what's very clear is if we continue to think we can apply the legacy way of doing things in a new environment and a new economy, I think that's going to lead to some pretty significant unintended consequences that are going to do some damage.
You've said that creating economic opportunity is the greatest issue of our time. Women are still incredibly underrepresented in technology. Why do you think that is?
I think, one, you have a pipelining issue where you may have had historically fewer graduates with specific degrees in engineering per se. As that now starts to improve, which is wonderful, hopefully we're going to see the gap start to close. And so it's incumbent upon all of us within the tech industry to make sure that we are casting as wide a net as possible when we're looking for the best talent. With regard to what happens once the career has started, I think it's really important to recognize unconscious bias and where people are making choices in terms of promotions, in terms of pay, that are not explicitly being driven by any kind of objective in terms of treating people unfairly, but by virtue of relating to people like the decision maker. And that creates all kinds of unconscious biases. And the more cognizant we become that we have a tendency to gravitate towards people like ourselves and the unintended consequences of that, I think the faster we can solve some of those issues.
Women represent 20% of technical roles at LinkedIn, 30% of leadership roles. Are you happy with that?
No. Am I happy with it? No. Is it moving in the right direction? Yes. We want as diverse and representative and as inclusive a base of leadership and employees as we have for our membership. And that's certainly the goal.
Would you advocate affirmative action or hiring women just to see what happens?
I don't think we should be hiring people to see what happens. I don't think we should be hiring people in a way that reduces the bar. I think we should be hiring the best possible person for the role. And one of the things that we can all do to improve diversity is employ techniques like the Rooney Rule, which the NFL has used to great effect. So they're not necessarily mandating you have to hire these kinds of people, whether that's gender-based or ethnic-based. What they are mandating is that you need to interview people that is representative of and more inclusive of the population that you're drawing from. And they've had amazing success with regard to improvements in diversity and inclusion as a result of that.